there behind the banner. We need to make sure that the jails and all the correctional officers and all the folks in there hear us and know that we're here. All of our family members and friends that are in there, we want them to know that we out here, we're fighting for them, right?
Oh, y'all look beautiful!
Yeah!
Beautiful! All right.
You guys repeat this one. I ain't know it yet, but I'm pretty sure you can.
Come on with it.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
I am here to speak about my niece, Brooklyn Michael Cooper.
Brooklyn Michael Cooper! Say her name.
Say her name.
Brooklyn
Michael Cooper, who lost her life to fentanyl. October 21st. She was in jail. Let me back up. She was in jail. I brought her here, walked her over to Officer Eschner, who walked her down and took her in because she had a warrant in Floyd County. Something that was supposed to take 3 days to 2.5 months. I could not get my niece out of jail because she did not have a bond here. LMDC, she did not die in LMDC, but she was murdered by LMDC because she was introduced to heroin while incarcerated. I have the evidence, I have the proof. I found my niece 10/21/21 on a Thursday. I administered CPR to my niece until EMS arrived. She got to the hospital and she had coded 5 times. They wanted to take her off life support, but I told them they were going to give her the 24 to 48 hours. It was only 6 hours. And I figured out why, but we'll talk about that on another day. But my niece was announced brain dead on 10/25/2021. She died of an overdose of fentanyl that she got off the street in Portland, downtown, Louisville, Kentucky. She tried to get, before she went in jail, she wanted to go into recovery. Recovery works in Mayfield failed her. In 24 hours, they were bringing her back. St. Mary's Elizabeth, Our Lady of Peace, failed her. They didn't want to inpatient her. They wanted her to do outpatient recovery, and she didn't want to do outpatient recovery because she knew she needed to be inpatient. Landmark Recovery off of Gagel Avenue failed her because she was accused of something that I don't know if she did. She swear up and down she didn't. But she was accused of something. She got upset. They called the police, and she was arrested.
And we believe
and
her.
That's how she ended up here in Louisville Metro Department of Corrections. Again, she didn't die literally, but they murdered her when she was introduced to heroin because her drug of choice was meth, not heroin. But she was introduced to heroin in Louisville Metro Correction. And they are responsible for Brooklyn Michael Cooper's death.
Say her name.
Brooklyn Michael Cooper!
Thank you, Tyra.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Thanks everyone for coming out and showing your support. My name is Thun Fan. I'm a member of Vocal, Kentucky. I'm also someone who struggles with addiction. And I've also lost friends and loved ones to overdose. I got some important things to bring up. So we need housing programs for people just getting out of prison and long-term incarceration.
That's right.
I know that when I got out and was thrown back into the streets without that structure that I developed while incarcerated, I went right back to using pretty much immediately. Now luckily I survived. Luckily I survived though, and that was thanks to the healing place, the treatment center right down the road. But if we had some system in place to provide support for people just getting out, you know, this wouldn't be as big of an issue. But we got to stop treating homeless people and stop treating people just getting out of prison as something to avoid. We need to start treating them like people, because that's what they are.
That's right. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, like Don said, we need housing first.
Yeah.
Housing first.
Yeah.
Housing first. Housing first. Housing first. Housing first. All right, housing first. Housing first. Oh yeah, we're gonna walk this.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap around and we're gonna stop at our next location. So let's keep it going. Let's get the banner up front. We're gonna go down this way. Go around. We're gonna make a wrap around here, and we're gonna head right back up. Let's take these straight. Who street? Our street.
I'm gonna go all the way over to the other street.
Our street. Who street? 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 Our street.
Hey, somebody watch your back here.
Our street. Who street? 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 Our street.
Right on the theater.
They like to be sneaky. They like to be
Right
sneaky.
on the theater. Right on the theater. Alrighty, dude. Who street?
Our street!
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 When I say no more, you say drug war. No more.
Drug war!
No more.
Drug war!
No more.
Drug war!
No more.
Drug war!
When I say no more, you say drug war. No more.
Drug war!
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 Who street?
Our street!
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 Together we stand.
Divided we fall!
That's not bad.
We don't deserve to die. Say what? 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 Our families don't deserve to die.
That's right. Our families don't deserve to die.
When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. In overdose down. 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 In overdose down.
Yeah.
In overdose down. In overdose down. In overdose down.
Give me a smile.
Overdose down.
Appreciate you.
In overdose down.
Cool.
In overdose down. In overdose down. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. No more. Drug war. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. No more. Drug war. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. 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 Now we have Tiny in the whole building here to speak.
Put your weight on it, Titan. Put your weight on it, Titan. Yeah.
My name is Tiny Herring, and on December 22nd, 2018, my life was forever changed. My husband was found unresponsive. He had recently celebrated 5 years of sobriety. He had just turned 42 2 days before, and Christmas was 3 days away. He had recently been prescribed a prescription from a new family care practitioner that was highly addictive, and within 24 hours he had relapsed. He is now dead. When I received the autopsy, it showed that he only had fentanyl in his system. That was in 2018, and we're just now starting to talk about fentanyl poisoning. Why do we have to wait until lives are lost before we start talking about stuff? The numbers don't lie. Last year, the United States crossed a tragic milestone. We lost more than 107,000 beautiful lives.
Yeah.
It's a heartbreaking record.
Too many.
To curb our rising overdose crisis, we must allow for innovations in reducing this harm these drugs can cause. This will require cooperation and coordination across all levels of government, as well as non-government organizations and people such as yourselves. Substances can have a serious impact on the life and well-being of people who are using drugs and alcohol, and the harm associated with drugs and alcohol misuse extends to loved ones as well as communities and societies at large. Harm reduction works to minimize these risks while treating people who are affected by substances with humanity and dignity. Harm reduction is a proactive approach to reducing the damage done by alcohol and drugs use related to high-risk behaviors. It also works by addressing a broader public health and social issues such as HIV transmission. The goals of harm reduction are to minimize the detrimental effects of substance use, help people connect with the care that they need and deserve, and foster greater social inclusion of people who are affected by substance use. The key principles of harm reduction include focusing on specific risk and their associated harm, utilizing evidence-based, cost-effective policies, contesting policies that increase harm, including the criminalization of drug use, and treating people who use substances with compassion and dignity. Harm reduction is essential for keeping people who use substances alive, and healthy harm reduction is focused on helping people regardless of where they are in their course of their substance use without judgment. These actions reduce stigma and discrimination against people who are affected by substance use. Let's be real honest here. No one brings casseroles when a loved one dies from an overdose. People keep their distance because they don't know what to say to us. It's very isolating. Families left behind. We don't get life insurance benefits even though they paid for a life insurance policy because of how they died. There's a lot of misunderstanding about people who use drugs, and it can happen to anybody. And if it's your kid or if it's your husband, then all of a sudden it's your fault. You were a bad parent. You were a bad spouse. Many times when our lives are affected by addiction, we fall into a life of shame and a life of guilt, but that's not going to be my story. That's not going to be the memory that I'm going to let left behind of my husband.
That's right.
Speak. Too often families are silent because we are ashamed and we are afraid of what others will say about us and our loved one. I will not keep silent. Silence is deadly. Our friends and family are disappearing from our lives. If we know something and we know that others aren't going to do anything about it, come on now, then we should. Now let's get out here and use our voices. Give a big shout out for Tiny. Amazing work in that whole village. Tiny is so crucial to the work that is happening right now. I want to invite Carla Wallace with Local Showing Up for Racial Justice up here. We're right in front of the police headquarters, and there's a lot of development and ideas being born, but we want to make sure that they're harm reduction centered by marginalized people. And I want to ask those who are representing campaigns or who are running for office, I want to see who's marching with us, who's still with us. I see Sean Booker's campaign, and I know he's under the weather, but his campaign is here. I see Morgan McGarvey, I see Trista Lister. Here. Look at the elected officials and the people running for office who showed up for you today, who are marching with you today. Remember that and hold them accountable. When they show up for us, that means they want to be held accountable. And we already have our Honorable State Representative Attica Scott, who always never misses a beat. But I want to make sure you see who's still with you here today. Our county attorney, Mike O'Connell, said today during the mayor's press conference, he reminded us that he lost his son, Matt, to an overdose. And he said that if there was harm reduction services did, his son could have been saved. We want to remind him and his team and his staff and all the prosecutors and
all the judges that have all that discretion to consider that when they're rendering their sentence, when they're pressing charges, when they're going for warrants. Consider what people are dealing with and meet them where they at. Every person deserves a fair opportunity. Our drug court under Judge Stephanie Burke went to the jail symposium and said that the jail court is only used 25% of the time. 25% of the time is a failure. And it goes along with what we've heard before, that black and brown people like Representative Couture Herring said, do not get that choice often. So we must employ those who have the discretion to do right by all of us. All of us. I want to give Carla Wallace an opportunity to talk about what Louisville Showing Up for Racial Justice is working on.
Can we give it up for Shameka? We have needed an organization like Vocal Kentucky, and we are just so excited and eager to partner with them. I'm with Louisville Showing Up for Racial Justice. My brother Henry overdosed with heroin laced with fentanyl just a few years ago. And you know, my brother had his white privilege and he had his money, so he didn't get dragged to jail. And he's still dead.
That's right.
We are knocking on thousands of doors, have been over the last 4 or 5 years, to end cash bail, because what we have in our jail is mostly people who have charges that are drug involved. They should not be held in the jail. And because rich people can pay to get out, and poor people can't, and disproportionately the black community. Absolutely. Rich people get out and poor people can't, and we need to change that system. We recently found out that for all the talk about harm reduction, do you know what the mayor and the jail are talking about?
What's that?
Almost $300 million for what? Harm reduction? No. Mental health services? No. Housing? Can you imagine how many homes we can build for $300 million? They are going to build a new jail. And they are going to tell us that that's where we can get people in recovery. They're saying that. And you know what? We can get people their GEDs. What an outrage that power decides that they get to lock people up to supposedly make them better people. That is outrageous. So watch for it coming out. One of the Vocal Kentucky people handed me this amazing sign. I love the message of Vocal Kentucky. $300 million in housing, services, and care. We need to demand that that money goes in the hands of community folk who are on the front lines of this. It's a continuation of the war on drugs. That's all it is. So let's be ready, because they are coming for us in the jail.
I knew she could say it best, right? And we need to hear from people like her, because white silence equals balance. And that balance happens in decision making, in boardrooms, in places where many of us aren't invited. So it's important that we use our voice and speak up on these issues. All right, our last speaker before we gave you a break, right? We're going to get back to it. This is the longest leg of the march. So we're going to march up the street to Main, and we're going to make a right, and we're going to head to the Muhammad Ali Center, okay? All right, I want to give Jessica an opportunity. Jessica is a part of our growth team. She is also a member of Vocal Kentucky.
I got the message today that the mayor. Okay, so I got the message today that the mayor only wants to put Narcan in the programs in the Jefferson County jails. Well, see, what I know is, by being a part of this, is that
The Narcan is for everyone, not just for the ones who are privileged to be into the program, because for that, that's an incentive. You see, half the people already that's in the programs are already in recovery. You understand what I'm saying? But what about the people that are coming into the jail freshly arrested? We demand Narcan into the entryways for the people who need it. It's for everybody, not just for programs. It's for everybody, all over the county jail. Fresh arrest, everything. Everybody's human in here, and we all need that.
That's right.
Narcan can save anybody's lives. People coming in right now could be getting ready to OD. And what you telling me, oh, you ain't got it downstairs, but you got it upstairs in the program, so you just gonna let somebody die right here in the entryway? No, sir. It's for everybody. We say Narcan for everybody, not just for the programs. Everybody. We demand that. Share what she said. All right, you ready?
Alright guys, let's go, let's keep it going! Full street! 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 When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. 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 Drug war. When I say no more, you say drug war. No more. 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 Drug war.
So, second time live today for the National Overdose Awareness Day. There is a march happening behind me, in front of me. There was a little rally out in Justice Square before we started marching with a number of individuals speaking. Separate live, you can check that out. I'm on the 502 live streamers page on Facebook right now because somehow I lost admin access to the Riot Heart Facebook page and the Jared Riot Facebook page. We're working on trying to get that back at the moment, but we will be live on the 502 live streamers page, Jared Riot Heart Media. We'll be using the 502 live streamers page for Facebook in the meantime. So just wanted to give you a heads up what's going on around me, and just a little bit of what's going on with the organization as a whole.
End overdose now!
End overdose now!
End
End overdose now!
Say what? End overdose now! End overdose now! End overdose
gentle Narcan training earlier in the press conference. Fentanyl has been an issue in Louisville for a very long time. There is been a heroin issue in Louisville for years at this point. Further than that, of course, fentanyl has been popping up like it has in many other cities. But in Louisville, fentanyl has been popping up, laced in a number of different things, not just heroin, cocaine, even marijuana at times. So really just, it's astounding. It's disgusting.
We don't deserve to die. Say what? We don't deserve to die. Say what? We don't deserve to die. Say what? We don't deserve to die. We don't deserve to die. Say what? 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 We don't deserve to die.
Got another press conference I gotta get to at 6:15.
Amen.
Which is about 30 minutes. So I might not be able to stick it out to the very end of this if there is some more guest speakers and stuff, but getting you as much footage as possible. Again, there's another live stream that was up just before this one. That was the rally. Attica, Shameka, Parrish-Wright, a number of leaders in the recovery community spoke about harm reduction, about access to harm reduction sources. Edward Tanner, it's a good thing that your local corner store has Narcan. For the specific reason that I was just mentioning, that fentanyl is now cut into a lot of different street drugs, unfortunately. So Narcan's got to be around for that reason.
He's coming through.
Scoot over, y'all. Scoot it over. No more. 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 No
I think everybody got their steps in today.
Yes. Yes. We did. Honey, what's been going on? Y'all on the wait list, so that's why y'all can't swim the beach on Friday? Well, we had to close it. Oh, for real? Oh, shit. So, we weren't going to bring anybody in, but every witness that ever seen.
Better way to the Muhammad Ali Center.
Yeah, we want everybody up there. Come on. Everybody over in the picture. Come on. Everybody. Everybody. After we get the picture, we can, when Sharita speaks, we can go over in the shade. Everybody come in towards the middle so we got everybody in the picture. Get up there.
Oh.
Everybody come on.
Smart. Y'all took the elevator. Y'all did good. Smart.
Get on up there. We're gonna get in the shade as soon as we take the picture. All right, we've got to get up in the picture. We do. Cameron, will you take a picture? Yeah, I'm coming.
Fuck your drug war!
Cameron's got my phone. Oh, perfect. Yes.
Alright. So y'all can see behind me, Vocal Kentucky organization, new local organization for harm reduction. Taking a little group photo. I got a number of photos that I took myself. I think we got one more guest speaker, and then I'll be dropping this live, trying to save some battery, getting over to another live shortly.
Like this. Like y'all hear me? All right.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out today. Do I have to yell at the same time? Okay. All right. So thank you all for coming out today. Thank you, Vocal Kentucky, for putting all this together. All right. So, yes, I'm Sharita Walden, and I'm the Executive Director for Kentucky Harm Reduction Coalition. We have Narcan here for everyone today, along with our other partners that are here. What we're going to do is take some time to let people talk and speak on their programs, have things to say. We're going to have them come up. I don't know everyone, so I'm going to ask okay. I'm going to ask that you all help me do that properly. First, I would like to let Teresa, Dr. Walker, come up and speak about her new program with Season New Leaf and with New Leaf, her mental health and substance use disorder outpatient program. Come on up, Dr. Walker, and share.
Okay, this feels kind of weird, but I
recovery. And I'm a psychiatrist, and I'm the owner of New Leaf Clinic, a treatment facility that does everything we can to help people get where they define as their best. And recently, a year and a half ago, we founded the Seeds of New Leaf. And the Seeds of New Leaf is a nonprofit that helps people overcome the barriers to treatment. And so what the relevance to today with that is that people say, oh, just get treatment. I mean, they just need to go to get treatment. But I'm sure everybody in here knows that it's not that easy at all. There are so many barriers for just one person. And so the purpose of the Seeds of New Leaf is to help people overcome those barriers. So every single day at New Leaf Clinic, the treatment arm of us, we see people come desperate for treatment. And then there's all these things that pop up. I don't have an ID. I don't have a ride. I can't pay my rent and go to treatment at the same time. HIP won't give me releases. There's so many reasons people cannot get treatment. And then they're already hopeless. They're already not feeling confident about it. And so it's so easy. I think people cuss here, right? To say to press the bucket button. They're just like, and so it can be the last time. That could be the last opportunity. And so our mission is to help people overcome that. So anytime I encounter a barrier, I try to fix it. Yeah. So the Treatment First program, basically that was born out of, and we pay people's rent while they're in treatment. That was born because I was a psychiatrist at the jail, and they were like, hey T, we want to send people to sober living, but they need their first week's rent and deposit. Where the hell are they going to get their, so treatment, we just made it up. You focus on treatment first. We get grants to help people pay their rent while they're in treatment and help them transition to employment so that they can be self-sufficient and take over their own rent. And then the most recent program, which is really exciting, is the Roller Recovery Program. You've probably seen the van that Thomas was driving, the Seeds of New Leaf van. And basically 24/6, every day but Sunday, you can call that number and we will help you navigate the system because it's so overwhelming and there's so many options. And you call this number and they say, oh, we don't take Medicare. Oh, you're pregnant? Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So the point of the van is to help you navigate that system, walk you through it, and help you figure out which resource is the best option for you. So we coordinated and worked with all types of community partners to help people get the resource that fits their particular needs. So that's what we do. I appreciate the chance to be able to speak with you all. And I'm used to just being a clinical psychiatrist and just having my head down and treating people. And so it's a privilege to be able to see all these different perspectives and learn so many different angles of recovery and the whole disease spectrum of addiction. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. You guys, I love what Dr. Walker is doing with the Roller Recovery van. It is the link. I said it earlier at the press conference with the mayor. Harm reduction is not an either or. It is an and. What we do in harm reduction is we provide people with what they need right where they're at. We don't want people to feel like they don't deserve to have housing, they don't deserve to have adequate health care or mental health care just because they choose to use a substance. So there are people who have a disorder who we link into care, and then there are people who simply use. Our country is built off of substance using culture. And beautiful Kentucky is wonderfully known across the United States for its bourbon. So why are we making a big deal when we talk about harm reduction for people who use it outside of our bourbon? We have to do better. I want to bring Summer up to share a few words. Thank you, Summer, for joining us today.
What's up, everybody? So, as most of you know, I'm Summer Dickerson. I run a program called Women of the Well for women coming out of human trafficking and domestic violence. And so I know firsthand, being a woman from the sex industry, I know firsthand about addiction, I know firsthand about recovery, I definitely know firsthand about relapse. But I also walk with lots of families daily that struggle to get people into rehab and get resources that they need. Today, though, with all the great stuff that I do, today I stand here in solidarity for a really good friend of mine named Julie. A couple of months ago, we lost her daughter, Bree. And the reason why I want to stand here and talk about it is because the way her and her family was treated when she had an overdose. She called the police came in, didn't ask any really questions, treated the family like they were nobody, treated Bree like they were nobody, took her away, and left Julie there for the mess to clean up. And that's something else that we don't talk about a lot, right? Is when our loved ones pass away, we don't have thousands of dollars to pay a company to come and take mattresses away and to take all that kind of clean things up and all that, right? And so me and my brother had to do that for my sister that day. And no family should have to do that. No family should have to look at the cops in the face and beg them for just some validation of her being a mother. She's not just another call. She's not just another victim of an OD. She's a mother. And Bree was an amazing, amazing young woman that was struggling with a lot of trauma that a lot of us struggle with daily. But marijuana was the gateway drug. Bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit.
Right.
Trauma is the gateway drug. Period. In my opinion. I know some people don't agree with me, but I've seen way too many times where trauma very much was. So I just wanted to stand here today for all the mothers that couldn't make it today. Because Julie has 2 disabled children, and she wanted to be here so bad to stand in gap for Bree today. And I want to let her know that all of us are standing here with her today. We love you, Julie.
That's right.
Everybody here stands with you today. We love you.
Thank you, Summer. As Summer shared, you guys, overdose does not discriminate. Okay? Overdose doesn't discriminate. My press and my ask to our constituents, our politicians, is if overdose doesn't discriminate, why are we using harm reduction as a discriminatory tool? Okay, you're looking at me, you're trying to figure out what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is currently our mobile sites that we operate in the city provide syringe service programs, which is an amazing program. We have seen the numbers drop significantly of HIV transmission with our syringe using population. That is a great thing to lift up and scream and holler about. Those are not the only people overdosing. Syringe users are not the only ones overdosing. The syringe users are not the only ones who are contracting HIV. That's right. So how do we connect with other communities that are not using syringes? We have to provide the services that meet that community. We've seen it work with syringe service programs. So your question to your constituents and your politicians and your council people is to ask them, why are they pushing back so heavily on safe smoking supplies? If we are connecting to the using community, using syringe service programs, and we have said on television today during the press conference how amazing we're doing, right? How effective the program is. Why are we discriminating and not providing the services to the communities that need it the most, which are the marginalized communities, which are the Black and brown communities? Those numbers continue to rise, friends. Make it make sense. All right? It doesn't discriminate. Summer shared her story, and almost everybody here has a story. And it doesn't have a color that sticks to it. It's for everyone. Ryan, come down, please, and share with us. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My name is Brian. You know, they talk about the syringe service and how successful it is indeed. And everybody doesn't use the syringe. You know, I put that syringe in my arm for the first time when I was in my mid-60s because my son got killed in his house. You know, but before that, I was a smoker. You know, I didn't use a syringe. I used an apparatus that was made of glass. You know, and those things didn't even put out there just as much as the syringe. You know, it's a hell of a thing to take a wire and punch through it just to get the hole to go all the way through so you can put something in it to be able to smoke. We need the things that smokers use also. this thing is not, it doesn't discriminate. It does not discriminate. It has no respect for person or anything. Its direction is to kill, destroy, maim, break families up. You know, so we need more than just the syringes. We need those other apparatuses used to get it out. You know, I'm just so overwhelmed. You know what this has led me to do is get closer to God. You know, and prayer has been a big part of my life in recent, big time. I called my mom in the morning and asked her to pray. Not just for me, but for all of us. So as we do this together, if we separate, we're going to start falling apart. We have to stay together. Whatever means it takes, we have to stay together.
Thank you, Brian. Was there anyone else that wanted to speak for a couple of minutes? I want to say one thing.
When we do leave, there's the union. Global Tenants Union, sorry. Is having a press conference up with Councilperson Tabori Arthur up at right outside of where the city council. We want to go there and support them too. That's right. All right. Does anybody else want to talk?
My name is A.B. Activist, protester. I also lost a huge brother. I lost a sister, I think it was in 2019 from a drug overdose, meaning who also suffered from mental issues. So we got to understand what we're fighting against. People don't know how to deal with their mental issues. Also, early this year, I lost a little cousin, Braille. The youth don't know. Don't need to know. Last month, I lost another one, Shameka, overdose. That was in the needle. So we got to understand what we're fighting against. We're fighting against all kinds of evils out there. And we got to do something about this. Because then they tell you, we're going to put you in a house. They'll put you in a house. But they put you in a place where, right around the corner, you're fighting the same temptation. So when we talk about housing, we need to be talking about housing in different areas where they cannot be able to be tempted by drugs. It shouldn't be so easy for them to contact that drug dealer because they're in the same neighborhood. So what we're fighting against is a system that constantly let us down in every way. In every way. Because I told a person today, if you take race out of it, if you take the color out of it, we are fighting against the same things. The same things. So I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave that with this. Really, it's all power. The people have all the power. They only do it what we allow them. We got to be in these national council meetings. We got to be on these national council meetings. Because it starts at the government first. They got local government got all the power. They got all the power in this state. So we got to start there.
All right, you guys, a great point was brought up about pills. We have fentanyl test strips. A couple of organizations out here, LRCC and us at KYHRC, have fentanyl test strips. This is the thing. A lot of people respond to us by saying, well, I don't do that stuff. And we're talking about drug culture. All right? Fentanyl is being placed in all substances. All of them. All right? The fentanyl test strips will help people to make sure they know. And we know that some people are not going to stop, but at least they know. And us, with harm reduction, there's language that we use to help people stay alive while they're in their use phase. Okay, our job is not to judge a person and tell them they need to stop. Our job is to say, hey, what is it that I can do for you right now? What are you missing? What do you need from me? What can I help you get? How can I help you get there? And along that conversation and that journey, you guys, the beautiful thing is happening. We're building a relationship. But then that next conversation that I'm going to have, like one of my staff that work with me currently, who's in her own lane of recovery, practicing abstinence right now. She started off at a site. attended one of these mobile sites, and now today, she's abstinent from all substances. It was just that same way. She built a relationship. She found out what she didn't know. She learned about all the services in the community, and people helped her access those services. And today, she has 3 years of sobriety. All because someone did not judge her and walked into her and said, hey, I want to get you what you have and give you what you need. That's how we get overdose. Get your fentanyl test strips. If you have teens like me, okay, people that like to smoke weed, that want to smoke and not die, give them fentanyl test strips so they can test this stuff, okay? Make sure you get tested whatever they're doing. They have pills. Explain it to them that you cannot tell the difference between a pressed fake fentanyl Percocet versus a regular Percocet, okay? Tell them to test your work. Test before you use every time. And then one day, maybe they'll have that conversation where they're like, I'm done with that. All right? I'm going to hand this back over to Vocal Kentucky. Thank you all so much for letting me do this.
All right, are we ready to move?
Yes.
So we're done, but we're going to all go up and support Louisville.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna drop this live stream. I'm gonna get my phone on a quick charge, try to get down to the square, and get back live to the Louisville Tenants Union press conference. It's about to happen with Metro Councilmember Corey Arthur. So I will be back live shortly. Till then, everybody stay strong, stay safe.
When they get done,